Yep.
So overnight, a federal judge is extending her order blocking President Trump from deploying the National Guard to Portland and its ICE facility, as Trump calls out far-left judges going way too far.
Have some of these raids gone too far?
No, I think they haven't gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out. You know, you have to look at the people. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are people that were thrown out of their countries because they were, criminals.
Well, you promised in your campaign that you were going to deport the worst of the worst, violent criminals.
Oh, we're doing that.
Fox News legal analyst Gregg Jarrett joins us now. So the political debate about the raids is one thing, but the legal angle of the city of Portland allowing their activists to block roadways and not allowing them to do their job, well, that's another one, right, Greg?
Yeah, Lawrence, you're right. This Portland judge is ignoring what the higher court, the Ninth Circuit, previously said when she first halted Trump's deployment of the National Guard, and that is that the president lawfully exercised his authority, and that judges must always give a great level of deference to the chief executive when he decides that troops are necessary to enforce law and order. The court said that a judge may not substitute his or her own judgment for that of the president when it comes to matters of national security. Why? Because it's a constitutional and statutory power vested solely in the president, not jurists. This particular judge, Karen Immergut, her ruling will now be reviewed by the full Ninth Circuit, inevitably the Supreme Court, but it does underscore, I think, what President Trump said last night, that his efforts to use ICE and federal law enforcement are constantly being interfered with by judges. Same thing in Chicago. The Supreme Court is now forced to get involved. Too many judges think they're super presidents who can countermand anything Trump does, and that's not what the Constitution says.
It's the perfect segue because you got another federal judge that is telling the administration, okay, I understand that Congress is not passing a resolution to fund a program, but you, the administration, have to take emergency funds to fund the SNAP program. Now, again, the political argument about should SNAP been there? I was on there at one point in my childhood time when my family couldn't afford it. But to have a judge say that you have to fund it with emergency funding, that crosses the line, right, Greg?
Well, it may very well, but understand that these are not really adversarial lawsuits here in the typical sense, because President Trump says he is sympathetic that 42 million Americans rely on SNAP payments for their basic food. So he is seeking guidance from this particular judge, two judges actually, on how to continue the program in the face of the government shutdown where the coffers are empty. Now, the Agriculture Department has $5 billion in emergency funds that might be tapped for food stamps, but Congress appropriated that money for natural disasters. This isn't that. This is a man-made disaster, you might call it, because Senate Democrats have refused over a dozen times to approve legislation to reopen the government. So, White House lawyers are going back to one of the judges today to say, okay, tell us how we can legally use these funds that are designated for a different purpose. Can we use some of it, all of it, partial payments, full payments? So, we'll wait and see what happens, but it's all moot if in a few days Democrats come around and reach an agreement to end the shutdown.
Well, that's really how you solve this, is just vote for the CR. Right. Greg, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.